Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free with true solutions to heal for real from narcissistic abuse and painful relationship patterns. More than just information to survive, you are granted the tools to thrive. In today's episode, we're going to be covering why it may seem that after being parented by a narcissist, you can't heal as effectively as somebody who wasn't. We're going to look at the particular issues that you may be struggling with as an adult after being parented by a narcissist, and how it is totally possible to heal even if abuse is all you have ever known and if you have never had healthy love or relationships modeled for you. So I'm so excited to share all of that with you. But before we get started, remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and like this video if it resonates with you. Okay, so let's get started. I want to talk to you about the seeming deficit of being parented by a narcissist. And I just want to say my heart goes out to you. I wasn't parented by a malignant narcissist, but I've worked with many clients over the last 10 plus years that have. And I just really want to say, I just want to normalize it for all of us. There are lots of us that may have been parented by unconscious or codependent parents, as well as narcissists. And the thing is, if we have never known healthily how to integrate with ourselves and how to grow up from being out of sourcing, needing love, approval, and survival and security from outside of ourselves to be a healthy source of that for ourselves, then we are compromised as adults, all of us. And I'm going to talk about this. And I know that a lot of you who have been parented by narcissists, absolutely, you never had a chance to know what is healthy. And instead, you have suffered all sorts of things regularly, probably since birth. So, for example, invalidation. That's something, not being heard, not being seen, not being important. Things like inconsistency and instability, which means that 1 minute you may have had this parent being fawning and loving and, all over you, and then the next they're punishing you, they're rejecting you, they're pushing you away. So you didn't know whether you were coming or going. And also too, what can be common with a narcissistic parent is exploitation, which means that they're using you as an extension of themselves. They may be parading you or using you for their own acclaim and their own narcissistic supply. Manipulation is another thing that you will have suffered. Things like being guilted, being made to feel bad or small or wrong to get them to do the bidding for them, using you for their own agendas. Neglect, of course, emotional at the very, very least, not meeting your needs emotionally, but you may have suffered even on practical physical levels as well. I know that I've had clients tell me things and members of the NARP community tell me things like as a 5-year-old, they were having to go next door to try and get food for them and their siblings because the narcissistic parent didn't come home or was drunk or, it was all about them. And those kind of things are horrible. Superficiality is another thing that narcissists do. We all know the expression, street angel, home devil, making out that it's all about appearances and everything's perfect and you have to appear perfect to other people. Superficiality is very, very damaging because you're being objectified. You're treated as an object instead of a real person. And of course, control. Narcissism is all about control. It's about stripping you of your rights so that the narcissist gets their own agendas fulfilled. So of course, this is going to leave you feeling terribly wounded, maybe to the point where you might feel so defective or there's so many wounds, you may believe, I can't heal. And before we get to the good news, I want to talk to you about the issues that as an adult, after being parented by a narcissist, what's that going to cause for you growing up and going forward into future relationships as an adult? The repeat of these patterns. After being invalidated by a narcissistic parent, you may feel invisible, that you don't have a voice, that your rights, you may not even know what your rights are because they were so unimportant. And maybe you're the type of person that sits back and lets other people take up space. You're the one that feels like when you say something, people don't hear you, they don't value you. And really, do you even know what your values and your rights and your needs are? And of course, boundaries are going to be very, very difficult to speak up and to hold a position of your truth and health and rights. Because you've suffered inconsistency and instability, you're not going to feel safe in your own body. It's going to be very normal for you to feel anxious, especially around other people. You may try to read other people. You know, who do I have to be to not set them off and keep them happy? So this is a thing that when we're empaths and we're in a wounded empath model, we're trying to read everybody else and trying to appease them in order to stay safe. That means you're going to hand power away. Now, because you've suffered exploitation, which means being paraded or you used as an extension for the narcissist's ego and false self, you may only know conditional love. So you will be stuck in the beliefs, I'm only worth what I can produce. I'm only as good as my accomplishments, which means that you're going to be really hard on yourself too. You're going to be a really critical, you're going to critique yourself and put harsh expectations on yourself often. Now, because you've suffered manipulation and you've been made to feel guilty so that you do the narcissist biddings, this sets you up as a scapegoat. You're going to feel intense shame. You're going to be the person that if somebody bumps into you or does something to you, you're going to say sorry. You're going to feel like the wrong one. Now, if you suffered neglect, emotional and or physical and practical, hey, you are going to believe my life is up to me. I don't receive support. I'm the one that has to do everything for myself. So you're not going to let other people into your life and into your space to trust them. Because your belief is going to be, if I let somebody in, they're going to neglect me. They're going to let me down. They're going to leave me all on my own. The superficiality thing, you know, when a narcissist is parading or creating their family as we're perfect, there's nothing wrong with us, we're keeping up with the Joneses, you may believe that you need to be perfect. So you may think people will only accept me if I'm perfect. How I look, how I behave, how I am. And you may be very drawn to getting with people in your life that objectify you, either physically or for what you create, because you're not going to feel like a blood and flesh human being who can be loved for yourself. And because you've experienced control in your life, you may feel really obligated to others. You're going to be hooked into catering for others instead of being able to map out and generate your own life in healthy ways. So of course, it stands to reason that if you've been compromised as a child by a narcissistic parent, and I will also say an unavailable or a codependent parent or a very unconscious parent, even if they're not malicious, all of these things can stand. All right, so I want to now talk to you about true healing and recovery is possible after being narcissistically parented. This is the good news. And how I can say this with conviction is because over the last 10 plus years, I have seen literally thousands of people recover and become whole, even if narcissistic abuse or unconscious or codependent parenting is all they've ever known. And I can say that with confidence, with even the most disgraceful, just awful circumstances that I've known about, including, like as I was saying about that 5-year-old. I could tell you hundreds of different awful stories where I've seen full recoveries. And the reason why this is possible, and the reason why it's possible with quantum focused healing, is because this is what I not only just believe, it's what I know. That without our trauma, we are organically wise, powerful, whole, and healthily connected beings. That's our organic, natural state. Okay, so if we have a look at the 7 wounds that we've already talked about and how they can be reprogrammed. So starting off with invalidation, where you felt invisible. These are beliefs in your subconscious programming, which is, I'm not important, I'm not valid, people don't listen to me, I don't have a voice. And we have the way, which is so exciting, with quantum freedom healing, targeted healing, which is what the NARC program is, that you're able to feel in your body, load up, release, and connect back to your organic true self. That's the reprogramming that happens directly in your somatic body, in your subconscious programming, which then means that you will no longer have the fears of, I'm going to be criticized, rejected, abandoned, or punished for being myself. Then your boundaries come back online. You can step into your power. In regard to inconsistency and instability, the beliefs that are stuck in your subconscious programs is, it's not safe to be in my body. It's not safe. People aren't safe. And again, you can target those beliefs directly, load them up somatically, release them, bring in your true organic self, which heals and resets you back to who you really are. And then you're in your body without going through all those detachment feelings and not knowing how to navigate your own life. And again, that gives you your power back. With exploitation, and they are the feelings of conditional love, that I'm only worthy of my accomplishments or how other people see me, rather than I unconditionally love and accept myself for me, and other people do too. Those are limiting beliefs that need to be reprogrammed. And when they're reprogrammed, you will see such a shift in how you feel about yourself and what you can generate with other people. And people that are only about objectifying you, you won't want them in your life. You really won't. So the manipulation that you've experienced, which means that I feel guilty, I'm scapegoated, I feel really shameful and wrong. Those are such painful feelings in your body. And again, with quantum tools, you're able to load them up, release them out of your subconscious cellularly, bring in your true organic, true self, which is who you are without that junk, and you will lose the guilt and the shame. And then you will not be susceptible to being manipulated anymore. So with neglect, these are the feelings of, I have to do it all myself. I'm burdened. I'm suffering aloneness. I can't trust anybody. I can't connect with people because they're going to let me down and hurt me. They're all limiting beliefs. They're all really painful traumas. Again, that can be reprogrammed. And could you imagine what that changes in your life when you're able to attract and sustain relationships with people that can support you, and you can have mutuality of giving and receiving, and know how to identify your rights and truths and speak up for them and have them met? Changes everything. And the superficiality, releasing those traumas of, I have to be perfect. It's only about how other people see me. You know, it's so much of those beliefs about my life depends on how other people see me and what they think of me, rather than I am free to generate life regarding how I believe and see myself. And control. Control. No longer being caught up in the power struggles of control, because you are now whole and in control of yourself. The great news is that because we have a way to be able to reprogram the limiting subconscious, painful, traumatic programs into a much higher organic wholeness and truth, means that we can shift, and we can shift really, really powerfully. And that's what I love introducing people to in this community, knowing there is another way, there is a better way to heal. And because you've been abused or neglected as a child, does not mean that you have a life sentence of trauma and painful relationships. That's not what your life was meant to be about, I promise you. Okay, so I hope that you found that helpful, and more than that, I hope that you found this hopeful. And what I would love you to do to take this further now is to check out my quiz, which is 11 telltale signs. And this is going to help you identify what level of parental narcissism, or if you're watching this video and it's not about a parent, any level of narcissism from any narcissist at all. And then what it's going to hook you up with is the resources of a free 7-day information series, which is going to be specific for your situation to help you. And I can't wait to help you with this and let you know there is a way up and out of this pain and into your freedom and your power. Okay, so remember to like this video if it's helped, and share it with somebody who you know may have suffered from a narcissistic parent, so that you can help them heal for real as well. And I am looking forward to your comments and your questions below. And until the next one, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.